So today I'm here, guys, to show to you guys how to properly operate the new AA systems using the new radar screen. It's actually pretty simple, but there are some little things that I need to explain to you. So first of all, let's try to explain to you the layout, how it works, and actually the buttons as well, right, that you need. Although with this system you can use some other things, but we're gonna get to it. So the first thing is that here we have the layout. How do you open this layout? So you need a button. Down there you can see that for me it's num plus, right? But you can put any button. You just need to go here to the controls and you go to something called camera control and radar control screen. You need a button for this on the very least to start off, okay? And once you click that button, it will open up, okay? If you have the radar turned it off, for example, you can turn it on as well, etc., right? But in a general sense, this is how you first open. So here we have basically three main screens. Sometimes even a fourth one with the actual image here that I can show to you guys later, but normally is these three, okay? We have a plan position indicator. This is the main thing that you're gonna use. Here basically we have all the targets in a plan position kind of situation, right? Where you can look with an azimuth where the targets are. We can have a target list on the right side here with many things: the number, the azimuth itself, the range, the height, the speed. If I'm not mistaken, this is the size of the target, the type of the target. Some of these AA systems have a way to identify what is the type of target. For example, MiG-15 here, and if it's an enemy or a friendly. And you can even filter it out. For example, what is the closest target that you can fire? What is the longest in distance? The one that is flying the lowest or the highest, the one that has the highest speed towards you or away from you, the size of the target, the type of the target. You can filter it out the way that you want over here, okay, which is pretty good. And also you have the elevation together with the azimuth indicator. So here you will have basically an azimuth, of course, you can see down there, with an elevation. So you can see that the target 2 is at almost 3 kilometers, like 2 kilometers of altitude over here. Of course, here we have the distance and everything, but you get the point. It's another way of looking at that. Another thing that you have to understand is that, of course, we can choose targets clicking on them, which is pretty good. And with this will be the main way that you can like locate a target and then choose the target to fire on the enemy, okay? So, for example, here we have a target right there. So I want to fire on that target. I will just click the button to fire, for example, right? We have some other things. For example, I can change to the IRST if the actual radar has it. I put a button on it, but you can just click it. You have the range here of the actual radar scope. So you can have a button to it, or you can click on here, which is normally easier. You have all. I have these buttons just standardize it between aircraft and ground vehicles, but so I always remember which buttons are these because I'm accustomed to it. But if you don't know, you just can click here. There are some other buttons that you can use, but in normal it will be like that, so you can see the distance here, okay? And then you have the radar control here. Like I said, normally you will be able to properly have a way of basically choosing the target, and if you don't have the button properly aligned here, you can just click on here. So for example, I don't know what is the button that I'm using for the radar on and off. I can just click here and it will switch on and off, okay? So etc., right? I mean, IRST mode, search mode, sorry, scope scale, the target lock, fire, everything that you need is here. And that's kind of it. That's the basis of this situation, okay? So for example, here I would just choose a target. Let me go closer. I would just choose this target, for example, and I can click right here to fire the missile, and the missile will be fired. You can see that right there we have the indication of where the missile is going to the target. You can even do this and fire multiple missiles at multiple targets, as you see. You can fire as many as you want, since this is an IR missile, right? And it will basically shoot them down all at once. Okay, so this is how it works. This is exactly how it works. It doesn't have anything else. It's not supposed to be complicated. You just need to have an idea on where your buttons are sometimes, or you click them over here. For example, I added the right mouse button to fire the main caliber gun over here. So in this case, right? So I can just click right here to choose, and I will fire with the right mouse button. So it's very easy, right? And all of the missiles will go to their respective targets. So it's very, very easy to use, okay? One thing, of course, that you have to understand is that you need these vehicles to be deployed. So, for example, let me restart this to you, just for you to have an idea. But in a general sense, if you are here just with the radar, of course, you are not going to be able to fire a missile. That's obvious, right? Deploy at least one launcher to fire, right? So you're going to have one launcher. Once you have two of the launchers, I mean, you can control, you can even fire from this. You can use the radar button while you are on the launcher as well. You can all do this, okay? But one thing that you have to understand is that once you have two launchers, you have another button that it's good for you to have, which is, let me just find it here. Prohibit fire from first launcher or second launcher. You can use these buttons to actually make sure that only one of them is going to be launching, right? So, for example, here, I'm going to prohibit the first one, for example. If I fire, the second one will be the one. If I prohibit the other one, this will, fire. So I can choose between them to basically choose what are going to be the targets that is going to be the missile that I fire, okay? And that's kind of it. There are some other minor things you have to have in mind. For example, here, like I said, we do have our TV system over here that will lock onto a target, and you can look at the target with this screen over here. This is for the Spider, for example, because it does have a TV camera, as you see, or like a camera, right? So you can use it right here, but it will work on the similar way. Another thing, some of these vehicles, like for example here, we can use two missiles, the Python 5 or the Derby, right? And with this, you can choose between them like it is an ammunition, and it automatically will fire them. So for example, if I want to fire the Python 5 over here, I choose the one, I choose the target, and I just click to fire. If I want, oh no, I want a radar missile now, I just click 2 or click down here, but you click the 2, select the target and fire as well, and it will fire the radar missile. So you can choose between them. You can also use, of course, here to actually fire the missiles. So you can choose here to choose the target vertically, right? And even I think here, yeah. So you can choose the target whatever place you are, and it will destroy the target. Remember, this is only for the Spider and some other A's that will have TV systems, right? And one last thing, for some of these vehicles, you will have two missiles that one of them is considered a special missile. So as you can see, you cannot choose the AIM-9X here. It's the main one, which is the AIM-120C7, and then the AIM-9X is considered a special missile. So instead of using the normal button, you will have a normal special missile button, right? In this case, for example, fire from special guns over here. So you're going to choose the target. Instead of clicking the main button, you're going to click, in this case, R, or click here, fire from special, and it will fire an AIM-9X. See? Or I can fire with the main one and just fire with the normal button over here. Okay? So it is a little bit of a different one. And I'm going to put it on the screen right now. Something that is pretty interesting, that when it's a friendly, it will have a small little box, a small little thing showing that it is a friendly target on the radar. So you have to be careful with that. Normally, it doesn't allow you to shoot at friendlies, but still, just be careful, okay? And basically, this is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This is how you operate these radars with this screen. It's not that difficult, very easy actually. And remember that sometimes you need a target lock to be able to launch some of these. Some of these AA systems need this button over here to be able to just target lock. You have to click the button over here to be able to, or the seeker button, whatever. Some of these need, like for example, the RBS 98. Sometimes it needs that, okay? So I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye. See you.